What's up, creators, creatrixes, and other conceptual creatures? I'm Wicked. I'm giving power back to the people, and you can't stop me. Today we are going to be doing a video on self-love and care. With Valentine's coming up, I thought it would be appropriate to do somewhat of a little mini-series on love in its many, many forms. So we are going to start with one of the most important types. But before we dive in, go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, and click that little bell so that I can keep helping you keep your third eye in the sky. With all that being said, let's get to it. It was actually a while ago that I was inspired to do this video because, as some of you may know, I talk a lot about self-love in my shorts, and someone commented and they were like, but how? Everybody's like, love yourself, but how do you do it? And you know what, this is a fair question. I think nobody really answers it because it's not just a cut and dry, do this, do that, and you're good to go. But rather, self-love is unique to each individual person. Each person has their own needs, desires, and enjoyments. So learning how to love yourself is really a path of self-discovery. If you don't already know what it takes to keep you happy and thriving, then you have to go on a little bit of a journey to get to know yourself so that you can figure out what it is that you truly need at the end of each day. Now, the reason this is such an important concept is because in our society, we're not really taught to love ourselves. We're also not really taught to love in a healthy manner, but especially not when directed back at ourselves. This is largely in part because a lot of companies make money off of our disdain for ourselves. If you love yourselves, there are so many things that you don't need, especially because just shopping in general can be a huge vice for anybody struggling with internal issues. So the more internal issues that society breeds, the more that companies can profit off of it. But learning to love and validate yourself isn't just going to help in areas of finances. Learning how to truly value yourself, to see your self-worth, and how to take care of yourself is going to help with the overall value of your life. It is going to improve your quality of life. It is going to make your life more enjoyable to live. Now, another large reason society doesn't teach us to love ourselves is because it's actively teaching us that happiness, love, affection, validation, all those things that we need and crave are outside of ourselves. So we spend a large amount of energy looking to anyone else to fill our cup without honestly ever even realizing that we can do it ourselves. Now, there are some people who just get this right off the bat, and that's great for them, but a lot of people don't, and that isn't necessarily your fault. It is just kind of the way of the world today. But one of the best ways that you can take your power back is learning to fill your own cup. You don't have to wait for anybody else to do this for you. You don't have to get upset with anybody else who isn't willing to immediately meet your needs. Learning to be there for yourself, to be the first person that you go to when you are in any type of mood, is one of the most empowering things that you can do. Now, this isn't to say that you don't still need other people or that you won't find enjoyment from interacting with other people and from loving them and connecting with them. Of course you will, but the important thing is that you don't need external sources to help you get into a good place. This really is the same thing as when we talk about alignment, and I'm a really big believer that most things in spirituality are all the same thing because everything is connected. So when we discuss alignment, it is all about being able to get yourself into a good place, because the better you feel, the closer you are to your source. So if you're constantly looking to an external source to help get you back into connection with the universe, you're never really in your own alignment, and that's when things don't go well for you. But when you learn how to tap into your heart center on your own, and for no real reason other than because you can, this helps you to find your way back into alignment, to stay connected with your source and the universe, and to continue fueling you. It is so important to be able to do this, because if you can't find the center within you, you're always looking to the outside, you are always going to be out of balance. And as a metaphor, maybe that doesn't sound that bad, but what that really looks like is struggling through life, trying to manage your way through, nothing ever really working out for you. And the truth is, nobody wants to live that way, and nobody should have to, because it causes us to expend so much energy when there is a much easier, more peaceful way. The path to that is through self-love. So if you're listening to this and it still sounds like a big, unattainable concept to you and you're really not sure how to begin loving yourself, especially if you are calibrated to the opposite, one of the best things you can do is start retraining the way that you speak to yourself. A lot of people who are stuck in the habit of not really loving themselves is usually because their internal monologue is not very kind. They might be calling themselves names. They might be actively telling themselves that they hate themselves. They might be constantly getting down on themselves. And here's the thing about that. The world teaches us to do that because a lot of the world is against us. And that's not the universe, but the human world. And that gets inside of us. It really infects us until we start to pick up that narrative and we make it our own. But if the world, the human world, is already against us, you don't want your own inner voice to be your worst enemy. There's enough negativity in the world already. Your energy is going to be better spent being your own biggest fan. Now again, if you're really in the habit of not liking yourself, this is hard because you're on the opposite end of the stick and you can't get to loving yourself from hating yourself in the blink of an eye. You have to work your way towards it. You have to soften that resistance. So just stop telling yourself you hate yourself. Start to work up to it slowly. If you can't actually say, I love myself, just start to realize all the ways in which you aren't really that bad. Start to focus on the things that you do right and the things that you do well, and start to pay attention when things go well for you. Learn how to thank your body for showing up for you. Even if it hurts, even if there are aches and pains, you're still here, and your body deserves respect and honor for that. Once again, society, especially capitalist society, teaches us to hate our physical vessel because we make more money that way. But the truth is, your body is your biggest supporter in this experience. It is your silent companion through this life. And the more hate you send to it, the less it is able to do its job well. If you think about it in terms like this, disease is dis-ease. So the more negative energy you send to yourself, the more susceptible you are to all of the negative vibrations in the world, like illnesses, disease, sickness, whether it be physical, mental, emotional, what have you. And the more you focus on these negative things, the more you are going to manifest negative things for yourself, and you get stuck in this vicious cycle. This is yet another reason it is so important to love yourself, so that you can tune your frequency to happy, healthy things. In doing so, you are going to completely change your life. But it's not going to be an easy process if, again, you are on the opposite end of the spectrum. So don't be too hard on yourself if you can't immediately get to this high vibrational energy. A large part of self-love is learning to be patient with yourself as you heal and as you change and as you grow. So give yourself grace as you start to learn yourself, as you start to unwork the negativity in your mind, especially if you're stuck in a negative narrative. It takes a while to rewrite that, and that is okay. Personally, it is something that I had to do. There was an unfortunately large time in my life where I was not kind to myself. My inner monologue was rude, it was crass, it was cruel. I was always harping on myself. I was my own biggest critic, and not just a critic in the, classy sense, but like a critic in dragging myself through the mud for not being able to do the smallest thing to complete perfection. I was truly horrible to myself for a long time, so I know how hard it is to work yourself out of those habits, but it is possible, and life gets so much easier to live once you do. We are meant to have soft experiences. We are not meant to hate ourselves. We were not born into this experience hating ourselves. The human world taught us to do that. And it is time that we unteach ourselves. It is time that we learn a new, better, healthier way. So I hope that after watching this, starting today, you start to open yourself up to getting to know you. Figure out what you like and bring more of that into your life. Take yourself out on a date. Do something nice for yourself. Allow yourself to enjoy more of your beloved hobbies. Have a self-care day, whatever that looks like for you. A lot of people think that's only for women, but the truth is that men can have self-care days too. And you don't have to take yourself to a spa. Maybe that just looks like taking yourself out into the woods and connecting with nature, or, whatever makes it feel more manly for you is fine. But self-care is any way in which you are connecting with you and you are meeting your own needs. So it doesn't just have to be painting your nails and doing a face mask, but rather meditating, doing a little bit of yoga or some other sort of exercise that isn't so intense you can't enjoy it. That's an important part too. It has to be an enjoyable process. There are tons of different ways to do self-care, and it really is all about what you like to do. For some, self-care might be swimming or climbing. For others, it might just be watching a movie that you've been meaning to see for years with a bucket of popcorn and not feeling guilty about what you're eating or the fact that you're not getting anything done. Self-care is just about allowing yourself to enjoy your life so that you can fill your cup and live a more fulfilling experience. As usual, we humans make these simple concepts so much harder than they have to be, but that is because of all the mental chatter that we have stuck in our minds. So I hope that this makes it clear to you that self-care and self-love can be any way in which you are being kind to yourself. If you're not in the habit of doing that, I really hope this video helps you figure out how, because you deserve it. We're all searching for love and validation in one form or another, but once you learn how to give it to yourself, it is untouchable. There is no feeling like it, and you deserve to have a healthy relationship with you. I really hope this helps. This is the type of information that can heal the world, so don't be afraid to pass it on. Everyone deserves to have a good relationship with themselves and to be totally in love with their own lives. No matter what you've been through, it is possible for you to turn your life around and fall in love with it all over again. That's all I have for this one. Thank you so much for joining me, and make sure to like and subscribe so that I can help you keep your third eye in the sky. Stay blessed.